Ugh. Recording now, actually. Now you guys all quit talking.
Okay.
You guys were... Hopkins, what were you saying about gay porn earlier?
Nothing at all.
All right. Welcome to the Practical Business Show, people. My name is Ben, here to answer your shooting questions. If you're watching the video feed, you see 5 fresh smiling faces. I'm in a different room because I've switched to my gaming computer. A few times in the last year or so, the podcast like chopped off in the middle, and it actually has been doing it more and more lately. It's because my other PC is too slow. So I got the my VR ready gaming computer now to record these video streams. So it's working much better, I think. It's working good for you guys, right?
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, good. So this is our World Shoot episode because people want to know, especially Matt. I got 2 emails, people asking what you thought.
Why me specifically?
Probably because you're a raging a-hole, right? People want you to rage out.
Okay.
Was there enough water on the stages for you?
One night there was plenty of water when it rained.
All right, so let's. We got 5 people here. That's a lot. It's a lot for a podcast, but I think we're going to make it work just fine. Alex, you sent me your opinions earlier, so
Yep.
So tell these guys what you thought of World Shoot, and the 2 monkeys on here that didn't go, Tim and Nick. I'm sure we'll have questions for you, and then we'll move on to Mr. Matt.
Yeah, well, it was my first World Shoot, and I gotta say, overall experience was great. I had like high expectations, and
As
from
far as
seeing
for
from
what? For the match.
yeah, the match, how it was run as well, but European matches are run pretty well, but especially like stage designs, difficulties. But yeah, so the good part is I thought it was really well run. There were no delays. It was pretty awesome for that. The stages were better than I thought they would be.
Well, you got very concerned after the French Nationals. That was held on the same range to test the range.
Yeah, and that looked like a complete disaster. So I was a little worried.
No, Tim, jump in. What were you going to say?
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Like the French Nationals, was that the one that there was like a lot of concern about like popper calibration and things like that, right?
Well, the poppers straight up didn't fucking work, and apparently they bought a whole new set of poppers.
Right. Apparently, they were too heavy or something, so they wouldn't fall. So they ordered like the wrong steel or something, so they replaced all those with the correct weight of steel. I don't know. I kind of read a little bit about that. I was just making so.
And like
all of that shit was straightened out.
Sorry, go ahead, Nick. What were you going to say?
Did you say the French Nationals was shot on this right before the World Shoot?
Correct.
Yeah,
so
about 2 weeks before.
They just had built the range, and then the test match was French Nationals. And I think a lot of the walls for the stages stayed in the same place and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, for most of it.
Okay.
All right, Alex, carry on. That's what you were going to say.
Yeah. So actually, all the props, everything, I thought it looked good. So I was pretty happy about that. I was expecting more movers though. A lot of the big stages, movers like swingers.
That wasn't enough for you?
I mean, I don't know. There was about like half the stages didn't have any movers. So all the big long courses. Oh, come on, man.
Alex, he shoots in the U.S. You got to understand Matt likes to keep it simple.
I mean, it's the freaking World Shoot. Like, it has to be tough. And a lot of the big long courses were just plain target, like USPSA style. So that was like, okay, it was fun.
Well, we came to it early, but if I was going to criticize one thing about the stages at the World Shoot, it would be that all of the long courses had no movers, no funny business at all. It was just like between 27 to 32 rounds, and it was like not anything. I would say there was one of them that was interesting out of the 6 at the match, and that was just because of they put the targets out pretty far. They were all pretty simple stages on the long courses. I didn't like that myself.
But I mean, the rest was good. I mean, the range is crazy amazing. It's huge. It's perfect. So yeah, I mean, it was a good match. I really enjoyed it. The difficulty level, I mean, it was harder than it looked, and so it was pretty interesting. 5 days straight is a lot.
That's a lot of shooting. What was that? It was 6 days, really. And then it's 8 days if you add on the opening ceremony and the closing. So 8 days match, quite a long time. What did you think about so it was your first World Shoot, so you have the opening ceremony with the Pride Parade where everybody marches in there. What did you think about all that?
It's fun. I like it. I mean, you're here for the whole experience. Right. You show up there, you meet with other countries, people, you see the superstars and everything, and no, it was fun. It was fun. I like that.
That's cool.
All right, Poppy Cakes. Your opinions on the match? Good match.
I thought it was very well run. I thought it was a good match. I think they should have provided more things like water and not charged €2 per bottle or €1 or something like that. And it was hot.
€1.
But €1 and it was hot. It was like straight out of the back of a truck.
I think it was €2 for the colder water.
Oh,
I can't confirm.
And what did you think about the safety tables?
I thought like they used the spare scraps from the walls they built to build the safety.
I thought it was ridiculous the number of safety tables they had.
Well, they had like one per area.
No, one per area. So you got 6 stages, 16 guys on the stage, and you might have to walk. What's the furthest you would have to walk? I don't know, 50 yards to a safe table at the furthest?
No, farther than that. Yeah. Section 3.
Yeah.
Area 3 had the worst.
So there wasn't enough safe tables, no water. I thought the opening ceremony was a disaster, and I thought the long courses weren't that interesting. But that's me really nitpicking with what was a well-done match.
What made the opening ceremony?
There was no place to sit, so it was like, I don't know, 1,000 or 1,500 competitors in this town square with no place to sit, and the acoustics were such shit that you couldn't hear what was going on from where we were standing. Was it different for the Canadian contingent, Alex?
Not really.
No, we couldn't hear what was going on, so a lot of guys just sort of left.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
We were just like, oh, fuck this. Like, I'm tired of being here. We just kind of left. Those sorts of things happen. I remember the World Shoot in Greece was way worse than that, where it was like people just left due to the time of day that it was. It was like getting to be 10 at night, and people had to shoot at 5 o'clock in the morning, something like that. So quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I heard rumblings of people saying there was like threats of terrorist attack. That's why they kept us in like a small area.
Yeah, no, you can get more guys when you drive a truck into it than if you're all confined.
Well, yeah.
Or I don't know how that works.
Okay.
That's a very apropos joke for France, right?
Yeah. I guess.
What's the power factor of a truck? I don't even know, but it's going to be a lot.
Man.
Okay, Matt. So for guys in the U.S. and even for Canadians too, this is like what makes World Shoot different than other matches?
You don't pace your targets. The shot difficulties way higher than normal.
Yeah, it was a tough match.
Yeah, like the physicality of the match is pretty tough also. So like they had stages where you had to go prone in multiple spots. Or mostly prone.
I I brought knee pads with me for the match, and I think I had them on me on 7 stages out of 30.
Wow.
I think.
That's probably about right. Yeah.
And they had like fresh gravels, no carpet, so it's like,
Yeah.
get down and there's gonna be blood.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not wearing knee pads, there's gonna be
Yeah,
blood.
yeah, of course.
What would you change about the match if you could change anything you wanted, Matt?
I mean, water would go pretty far.
More water, safe tables.
I thought the stages were good. I thought it was ran well. There wasn't backups.
One thing that's interesting for Nick and Tim, because you guys haven't shot a match like this, the interesting thing is you shoot the match in zones. So there's 30 stages, 5 zones, and each zone is 3 short courses, 2 medium courses, and 1 long course. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So each day, the days that you're scheduled to shoot, you were like, okay, you shoot zone 3, and maybe you start on one stage or another, but you're going to shoot that whole zone on one day. And then you'll have, so like every day, you can 1 long course, 2 medium course, 3 short courses. I thought the stages I liked the most in the match were the medium courses, to be honest.
Yeah, these are the best stages.
Like
They're
20
the most
rounds ish. They were the most interesting in the match because I think if I'm sort of reading the tea leaves here, I think they had a rule where they're not going to put any complicated shit on the long courses, so they would reset
because
fast.
of reset. Yeah, reset.
So the medium courses, they had moving targets, they had multiple positions. There's some long stuff, some close stuff. I mean, those were quite interesting stages, I thought.
Well, that's one of the upshots of the IPSC walkthrough rules. You can't really have a complicated long course, right? Because you can't really.
Well, I mean, you can, but it's really dickish. And the ironic thing is on the long courses, a lot of times you feel like you have more time than on the short courses. Because on a short stage, you go up there with, what was it, the squads, guys, 16 people or something? 16,
Yeah,
18?
16.
So you go up there and, okay, you're going to shoot from standing in one spot or sitting on this thing or something like that. And they say, well, you've got 3 minutes. So if you take, let me get out my calculator here. If we take 180 seconds and divide 16 people in there, each guy gets 11 and a quarter seconds to be in a spot. Yeah, and if you're on a squad with a bunch of like very rude Canadian people or something, you're not going to get, like, they're going to take 20 seconds. No, the Canadians are nice. I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, some of us from the Canadian people, we just didn't even get the chance to walk the stage on some stages.
Yeah, so it was on the short courses generally.
On short courses, yeah, the one like with the cuffs, the handcuffs, or anything like that. It's like people get stuck there, and they try the door, they try everything, and so you just end up making the line, checking people, do their walkthrough, and then it's like, oh, sorry, time's out.
So in the 3-minute short course, you may not get to even stand in the shooting area where you're going to shoot from. That's
you
common.
basically you do it while you're just like on deck.
Yeah. So you get like 15 seconds while you're standing there on deck to figure it out. And the long courses,
make ready to me.
Yeah. So on the long courses, you get 5 minutes, but there's so much more real estate on those stages that it's like, well, there might be 5 or 6 shooting positions, and like the line starts at the beginning of the stage, and I always like jump out to the middle of the stage and start looking around there and that sort of a thing. So you kind of get a lot more time to look at the long courses, to be honest.
Especially if those long courses don't have a lot, anything tricky on them.
No,
you really do feel like you've got quite a bit of time then to, like, okay, I got it figured out.
Well, compared to the short courses, like Alex was talking about this one with the handcuffs, there was one, the one he's talking about is where you shoot with your hands cuffed to some rope. So it's a very specific shooting spot, and you have to move your body position around 5 times. So it's like lean like this, lean like that, standing normal, lean like that, lean like that. So you have to memorize precise movements, and you get not much time to do it. If that makes sense.
Gimmick.
It is. You're like, it's not practical. But what if you get handcuffed to the back of a police car and you get your hands on a cop's gun, you're going to make your escape. Practical shooting, right, Nick?
And who has that not happened to at some point?
Exactly. Realistic. Or I don't know, or whatever. Do you like that, Tim?
I like that.
In my practical scenario, you're the criminal. Who knows, though? You're not always the upstanding guy that you pretend to be. All right, Nick. You have any questions popping into your head about this match?
Well, I had one, I guess. Do you think the match was designed more towards open, or was it standard for a world shoot? Was the stage design different than other world shoots that you've been to?
Longer target distances for sure.
Most of those bays went 50 yards deep, right?
They didn't have anything that far, but yeah, they had.
But right, they're 50-yard deep. But I mean, it looked like there were quite a bit of steel that you shot at 30, 35 yards and stuff.
In Greece, there was nothing past 25 yards, I think.
Wow.
I don't think. They had really fast movers at this match. They had
activator sequences you had to hit perfectly.
Complicated stuff, but yeah, it was harder than the other world shoots I've shot, I would say, by a pretty fair margin.
The swingers that were behind like the hardcover with just the two pieces of steel on the swingers those looked pretty tricky. But I was kind of digging on those too.
There wasn't much of a trick. They were just really fast.
Yeah, obviously.
There's no trick
to
it.
I noticed a lot of IPSC match videos. They seem to have those really tough-looking swingers that we don't see a lot in the U.S. I'm sure they have those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not only are they fast, but they're like extremely partial.
And they're far away sometimes also. So they're not only fast, they're far away.
Hey. They may be far away, close, but at least they're fast.
They put a no-shoot on them.
Right.
Get four open swingers on half the stages. Is that what you're saying, man?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
All right.
Did anything seem, as far as prop wise, mover wise, or anything? Did anything seem out of the realm? Like, if you thought about it, obviously from the level that we're all at versus, like, say, the level of a B class guy, was anything like, yep, I don't even think a C or B class guy could complete the stage?
No.
Or was everything still set up in a way that
everything was hittable? Everything. Okay. In that respect, it was easier than a lot of matches here in the U.S.
Okay.
Like, it's not like they put no shoots on each side of the A zone and then put the target at 25 yards. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't do that. Like, everything was hittable. If you, like, made sure you hit it, you would hit it, and it'd be fine.
Okay.
So, not so bad. All right, let's do one question, because I feel like it. Do you judge your performance at major matches more by how you felt you shot or where you placed? This is a good one. Let's go in order that I see people's. Mr. Heron.
I used to put more pressure on myself based on finish position. This year, it's been completely different for me. I honestly base my major match performances on how I felt after I finished shooting them. I mean, if I feel like I've put in the best effort I possibly can, then, you know, my finished position is kind of irrelevant. So, and I've had some matches this year where I've shot extremely well. I mean, where I felt like, yeah, I nailed that. And, I've Battle in the Bluegrass was one of them. That was the very first major match this year I shot, back in April. And it was the very first major match I've ever shot completely clean. And I could not have been more proud and more happy with how I shot. And then I finished third overall. So, I mean, the finish position was there. It wasn't an overall win, but the finish position was irrelevant based on what to me was the most important, which was I accomplished my goals. So single stack nationals was the same way. And actually every single match this year has been that way. Matches that I felt really, really good about, like I said, the finish position is there. matches I've kind of come off the range of like, that wasn't my best performance, and it's shown the results. So I put more effort and thought into how I personally feel my shooting was than I do overall match position.
Does anybody disagree with that?
Nope.
Anybody?
Yeah. Well, for me, I know you shouldn't, but it is difficult for me to divorce my overall happiness about the match with how I finished. It's tough for me to do that.
So if you go to a match and shoot like shit and win, you're still happy.
I feel a lot better about that match than I do if I go to a match and shoot like shit and lose. Yeah. So, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying for me, it's almost mentally unavoidable. I'll finish a match with some idea of how I felt that I shot, but my final feeling about that match then is affected by the finish position. It's just a fact. It's just the way it is. So yeah, and it also has to do with the level of competition, as well, and who I beat and who I did in that field. But it's definitely a component of how I feel about the match. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it is what it is for me.
Oh, you might be right.